Everybody, it's Randy and Sasha here from Vincent Drumsticks once again. Sasha, what's up?
Yeah, welcome to the Vincent COVID chats. We had a great guest here last time, Hannes van Daal, sorry. And we have a cool one today. And shall we have a look who it is?
Yeah, let me just admit him, and hopefully he's joining in a second here.
It says already who it is.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, no surprise. So, hey, there he is.
Hey, it's Nigel Glockler from the mighty Saxon. Here he is.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you, sir?
Good, man. Good.
All right.
Good.
Cheers. Cheers,
Oh,
everybody.
Yeah, cheerio.
Cheers.
All right. So,
Are you being all posh with your glasses and I'm here with a beer can? Sorry.
Yeah. Hey.
so how you doing in these strange times, Nigel?
Yeah, we're getting through it. We're getting through it. I mean, how are you guys doing? It's like,
Well,
Oh yeah, I mean,
just hang in there, really, innit? I mean,
exactly. There's nothing else you can do. And apart from that, then I work on this stuff. So just do some writing and stuff. So
oh, is that some new music?
yeah, that's how I spend my time. Yeah.
Nice. Like
Yeah.
for the band, for Saxon, or in general just music?
Just in general, really.
Oh, okay.
I do music as well for library, what they call library music for television.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
So I do,
I didn't know.
I've got keyboards here and stuff, and yeah, so.
So you're more than just a drummer then. You are also like composing on keyboards and stuff.
I mean, I've always written with Saxon anyway, and I'm a rubbish guitar player. So keyboards are the, if I can find a nice sample that sounds like a guitar, then that's what I'll use. But hey,
it says,
I'm no Rick Wakeman, but I get by.
But it says on Wikipedia that you played on some of Saxon stuff. You played some bass on it. Is that true?
I have played bass. I mean, I've played. I don't think I've played bass actually on album. I've played keyboards on album. But I did play bass for a while. I mean, I started drumming when I was 7 years old.
Wow, yeah,
Wow.
like me.
And then I sort of got a bit bored with it, and I found I was always listening to the bass when I was listening to records. So my pride and joy. Go on.
I'm just curious, when you're with the writing you're doing back there, when it comes to the drums, are you just using program stuff, or are you also recording your own drums to that?
No, I'm not recording my own drum. I've got no way of doing it because all my gear's in Germany.
Ah, okay.
All our gear's stored at our tour manager's place. So, I've got one kit there and I've got one kit in the States, so nothing here. And I don't think the neighbours would like it that much. So,
Okay.
so I either program or I do a mixture of, drum loops and programming or whatever. I just like to mess around with stuff,
Okay.
Wow, that's cool.
Find a drum loop, completely screw it around, reverse it or whatever, and just, and see what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're one of the few drummers I know that really knows how to use like programs like that to work with. Because mostly drummers I know, they don't have a clue how to work with those programs, how to actually work with the computer.
No, I mean, I started, I sort of started with an old Atari, and I really actually got into drum programming because I was getting so sort of pissed off with this. So, here comes a drum fill, and the snare sounds like a bloody machine gun.
Yeah.
That's not how it is. So it was always like, hang on a minute, well, that hand shouldn't be quite as hard as that one. So it would take me time, but I did a couple of things actually where I would actually challenge you to say it was programmed or not.
Yeah. Sometimes hard to tell these days. So any of your music, was it used for any ads that we made?
No, not ads. I
maybe
mean,
more?
most of the stuff has been used. I write with Doug from Saxon occasionally, and another friend of mine I write with, or I write on my own. But we've had stuff, in documentaries and background music for documentaries, but it's used all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, wow.
You know, I never know what's going to happen until they send me sort of a thing. Say every third or every quarter of the year, they'll send a list of where it's been used. I mean, I had stuff on, what was it, Florida Animal Police, and the next some football program in China.
Wow.
And the best one was actually some bloody, what the hell was it? It was some program on sex aids in Amsterdam or something. I was like, whoa.
If it pays to rent.
What the heck, exactly?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just curious, just to back up a little bit. Where were you when all this hit? When everything started to happen with this virus thing?
Oh God.
Were you guys touring, or was the band busy at all in any way?
No, actually, well, the thing was, I mean, it was, we were due to do some big shows. We were, which had been postponed from last year because Biff had his heart thing. Yeah. So the show, because it was the band's 40th anniversary last year.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So we had some big shows coming, so they had to be postponed till this year, and then this thing hit. And it was like, great,
Yeah.
But we managed, we did the ones, we were doing 3 shows. I think we did Belgium, Holland, and a big one in Dusseldorf. We did those, and we were just waiting for the 3, because we were doing 3, we were playing Hammersmith, Manchester and Glasgow, big shows that we used to play in the 80s. Actually, we decided we'd go back to these venues.
Great, yeah.
And suddenly they were all sold out. Hammersmith was sold out, everything. And it was like, boom, this hit.
Oh, man.
So who knows? I mean, I think provisionally they were talking about hoping September, but I can't see it personally. I mean,
no.
we had a
I
lot
don't
of
think so either.
No, we had a lot of festivals lined up, England and Europe. The whole lot's just, so who knows? So
yeah.
Hence this thing. This is why I'm getting on with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we're on tour and I don't get a chance to do anything.
You can't really do that stuff on tour.
No, I can't. There's no time. I need to sort of get into the mood,
Right, that's true.
And
you need to probably have like your own space where you do that stuff, right?
Yeah. And but I mean, getting some Saxon ideas up as well. Just some rough ideas. I mean, I put everything down, even if I can just think of something that might last 30 seconds, just something buzzing around my head. I bung it down, and then I'll come back to it later. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's good.
So all this technology allows me to do this.
That's great.
I can have guitar samples and bloody all sorts,
Wow, that's good. That's perfect.
There we go.
Like with the guy I'm working with, he's just famous. He's just famous in Germany. We are actually now doing some gigs where we play in front of like people who sit in cars, like what you call it?
Drive-in theater, like a drive-in theater.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's a new thing in Germany. So we start that at the end of the month. Yeah, they have them everywhere now. They pop up like daisies everywhere. It's amazing. And what it allows you to play live gigs again, but there's no stereo systems, like no PA. People have to tune in, and they sit in their cars. They have to tune in, and they watch you from inside their cars. And they don't clap. They beep the horn.
That's brilliant.
But it's not happening for you guys at the moment. Something like this.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I know a lot of bands are starting to do this sort of doing a gig live streaming.
Yeah.
And then people pay to come in to see the gig or whatever. It's, I don't know. To me, that would be a bit of a weirdo because you're not getting the vibe off the audience.
Not at all. I can't. I can't imagine staring into like 500 car faces yet.
No,
Well,
that would be a bit weird, yeah. Hey, can you dip your headlamps who are blinding me? You know?
That's what.
Wow.
But that's what I think. I was talking to one of the guys who was organizing it, and they said like they have like auto batteries there as well, just in case the guys, you know, the cars break down from beeping and using the lights all the time.
Yeah.
To give them a boost.
You know,
I was like, oh, booster, yeah.
Boosted, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's funny actually. So
how do they do it with the? Oh, that's an interesting one. How do they do it so you tune in? That's bizarre.
Yeah,
they probably buy a line and say like you go to 88 point whatever.
Yeah.
And there it is then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably,
it actually could be pretty cool as far as sonically. I mean, the sound, if you've got a good system in your car,
Yeah.
it could sound really great. It could be an
but on the other hand, you've got a rubbish one. They go, God, this band sounds crap, doesn't it?
That's true.
Oh man!
You got some guy next door to you that's got a huge boombox in his trunk.
Yeah.
Just turn on the window and listen to his car.
Yeah, exactly.
I sent you something later. You can have a look. I mean, it's hilarious. It really is.
Yeah,
you know, they're using the window wipers and all that, all in sync. They go like 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I mean, you've got to do something. You know, it's weird times, so you know, it's weird ideas.
So let's.
I mean, maybe it's an idea. Maybe you guys started, and you know, you're the first ones on the island to do it.
You never know.
You never know.
So let me be the one to start this. These are the Wincent COVID chats, after all. Me and Sasha were talking a little earlier, and I first got wind of Wincent Sticks at the Music Mess some years ago from Sasha himself, who brought me over there, and so that's how I was introduced. How did you come around to playing Wincent drumsticks? What's your history with them?
I told him too. I'm kidding.
Oh, did you?
What?
Sasha.
Yeah, I can't remember. To be quite honest with you, I just cannot remember whether it was, you know, whether Mickey D said something or no. I don't think it was him. I honestly, I can't remember.
Okay.
I really can't remember.
Well, how many years you've been playing the Wincent Sticks now?
It's like quite a few. Quite a few, you know.
Can't be that many.
No, I think I've been probably, you know, I think I've been playing them for probably about 3 or 4 tours now. So, you know, work that one out. You know,
it's got to be longer than Sasha. What are you? 7 years? 8?
Like when I had the honor to open up for Nigel on one of their European tours. That's how we met.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. That was in 2013.
I wasn't using them then, was I?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
was I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I went like, oh, you're using them too. That was 2013.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think that was the first tour I used them on, actually.
At least. Okay, so 7 years at least.
There you go.
And hang on, let me. It's 55F.
Yeah. R. 55FR.
Ah. When you stepped up then.
The round tip.
The round tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like them. You know, I thought, yeah, I'll try a round tip just for a change, you know, just to see what the sound is like. So great. But I mean, I've never looked back. They're great sticks, you know. I love them. I think I very rarely break one.
Yeah, they're very durable, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are
really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point with me, you know, before I was with them, because they were the only company. Because I mean, before them, I was using things like, you know, 5B Extremes.
Okay.
You know, and it was like, I just suddenly came round. Why the hell am I using these tree trunks?
They're big, yeah.
you know, why am I using these tree trunks? It's ridiculous. You know, well, for a start, you're like mullering the cymbals all over the place.
Yeah.
And from another point of view, I thought, let the PA do the work.
Right, that's true.
You know? And it enables me. And the other thing was, because they're a little bit shorter than you know, I found with my current setup, I found I kept sort of catching on things, because just that little extra bit of length on a 5B extreme. And I found I was like catching sometimes on the ride cymbal, you know, going down to say from a rack tom to a floor tom, I was catching on it occasionally. So I thought maybe I need a slightly shorter stick. So, and 5As were too sort of small. I mean, too sort of thin or whatever. These are like an in between a 5B and a 5A. So perfect.
But I'm using that one too, but not the round tip. I'm using the 55F.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, and same with me. I mean, I have far less stuff in front of me and around me than you have. Like Nigel's got the biggest drum kit in the world.
Basically, it's just that if I screw up, I'm going to hit something. So.
That's what I say. But man, I mean, the first night we played together, it was my drum kit before his, and you couldn't even see mine anymore because it was like that red monster everywhere. It's amazing. It's just
you had that
amazing.
gigantic kit drum, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a bit big. That was like 26 by 18.
That's what I mean. It was a monster.
Whoa!
Like
yeah. But it didn't sound. It didn't sound that what you call it. That didn't have that much volume because it was so long. It was 18. That the air was moving too slow.
Yeah.
So now I'm using like 24 by like 16 or 14 sometimes.
20. I actually got told, someone said to me, he said, if you have a 24/16 is the optimum.
Yeah, I've got 16 and I have 14, and 14 is great too.
Oh, cool. That's a real old school time. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's old school. Yeah. But I used, like, for one of the past tours I did with my guy, I used an acrylic drum kit, like an acrylic pearl drum kit, and I wanted I like big drum kit, big bass drums, and they only do them when they got up to 24. They only do them 14, and it sounded amazing. It looks a bit strange when you look from the side, because you're used to like the depth, but it's not there. But the sound is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at some of the old pictures, it's funny enough. I was looking at some a while back. You look at a side-on view of like John Bonham's kick drum.
Yeah.
They're shallow.
Yeah, they're just narrow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
I know what you're gonna come up with, Randy.
What's that?
Huh? Now we're talking Toya, don't we?
Yes, exactly. We checked out an old video of yours.
Oh God.
1981. But even back then, you were using a pretty big drum kit, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Which video was it? Pound the Glory.
No. Something free. I want to be free or something. Free.
Oh God, the Toya thing. Oh
yeah,
my.
Toya, yeah.
God. Yeah. Oh jeez. I had these sort of. Yeah.
I told you that was going to be different.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. People always laughing. I used to wear these like clip-on gold dinner plate earrings, you know.
Yeah.
It almost looked like
I'll tell you what, the thing with that kit was, I mean, it was, I had that was a Tama kick drum, right?
Okay.
And I had 8 rototoms.
No. This was a different video then, because the kit we saw was an acrylic kit, red.
Not that red thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't my kit. That was a kit. That was Musikladen in Germany.
Okay.
So it was all playback anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It looked.
Oh, that was hilarious, because I tell you what.
You were standing up, right?
No, I was sitting down.
But you were really high. It was amazing.
I know. No, I'll tell you why. Because what happened was Motorhead were on before us. and Filthy decided to demolish the kit at the end of their set. And
Oh,
they were
no.
like, Christ, we're on next. Put it all back up again. So it's just like, as it was like, oh, God.
Filthy. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So talking of that, you could tell some stories, right?
Yeah, I could. Whether I will or not is another matter.
Well, have another swig. Go on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, man.
No, but when can we expect a book or something like that, like memoirs?
No.
Any plans for that?
No. I don't know if you know, but a few years ago, this guy approached me about he was doing a book on drummers, but incidents that had happened to drummers.
All right.
And he bought this book out called Mad, Bad and Dangerous.
Oh, sounds good.
I had a few stories in there and, things.
Oh.
And I went out I did an interview with him actually on YouTube. There's an interview with him on YouTube. His name's Spike Webb, I think it is. And we became quite good friends actually. And a little while back, he rang me up, or he emailed me actually. And he said, well, I've been in to see my publisher. And he asked me to ask you if you'd be interested in doing a book. And Spike would be the writer, and I'd give him all the stuff and he'd do it. And I was very flattered that Spike's publisher had specifically asked for me, which I thought, that's interesting. But I thought about it and I went, no, because all people want is salacious stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. That's all they want. And I'm not going to do that out of respect to people from past,
That's
present. Cool. And I said, no, I'm not doing that.
So we're not getting the dirt from you.
Exactly. No, I won't, because it's respecting people, and
no,
it's
of course.
No. And they'd probably ask, well, what was it like in the band and what was this going? And no, that's, no.
Okay,
so,
cool.
I'm quite a sort of private person in that sort of sense. So I went, no. So there
cool.
will never be a book.
Mm-hmm. Sasha, don't hate me now. But I...
How could I ever?
I like to drum geek out a little bit, but you said you started when you were 7, Nigel.
Yeah.
Right? So what sparked the interest to play drums? What was it? Was it a band? Was it a specific drummer? Was it the kit itself?
Well, I don't know. I mean, actually, it was like a friend of my father's noticed whenever, because I've got a brother who's 11 years older than me. And I mean, I think when I was about 3 years old, I was listening to Rock Around the Clock, and all that sort of stuff. Cool. So my brother was all this stuff was feeding into me, and sort of later on, I'd put his Little Richard things on and listen to them, and I was enjoying all this stuff, and a friend of my father's noticed I was always tapping away whenever something was on.
Okay.
So he sort of suggested to my father, he said, why don't you just sort of buy him a little snare drum and a cymbal and see what happens? And that's how it started. But I had, at that sort of age later on, I was really into, the Shadows, the Shadows, which are like this. And it was funny, actually. I mean, I thought Tony Meehan and the next drummer, Brian Bennett, were like, whoa, they were just brilliant, So they were my sort of idols at that time, and it was funny. I mean, coming right up to the present time. Well, a few years ago, I went to the London Drum Show, and Brian Bennett walked in, right, and he with another of my here, this guy Clem Catini, who was like the session man in the '60s, played on bloody nearly everything.
Wow.
And they both walked in, and I got my picture taken with them, and that was like, yes, it was like,
cool.
That was just great, absolutely. But I guess with America, it'd be like sort of meeting someone, for an American, meeting someone like Hal Blaine or something,
Right.
Sort of thing. Clem Catini was basically the English Hal Blaine sort of thing,
Right.
Wow.
But can I tell you something? I mean, I do the fan geek boy thing now real quick. Like when I started, I have to, because
of course.
it fits. when I started playing the drums, I only had a bass drum and a tom, because like what a relative gave it to me, and I was just bashing away with it. But I had a card to go to the public library when that was like I was 7 or 8 years old. So I always went to the public library, and because they had cassettes there you could rent as well as books and records. And I always went down there and rented The Eagle Has Landed and played along with it.
Oh, the first one.
And you were playing drums on that one.
Right.
Yeah, can you imagine?
You mean the live album?
Yes, the live album.
Yeah,
that's how I started. That's how I started playing the drums. I was playing along to your playing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's not. It's, and I'm not making this up. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, brilliant.
True story.
Yeah, cool. In fact, they only told me we were doing that. I'd only been in the band 2 weeks, right?
That,
and
that
they
was
said, yeah, we recorded some of that Hammersmith, which was at the October '81, and then we did a couple. And then we did, I think it was Birmingham, Odeon, or we did Wolverhampton the following January or February, I think it was, something like this, as an extra, get some extra more recording. But so I'd only been in the band 2 weeks, and they said, "Oh, by the way, we're recording next week at Hammersmith." I was like, "What?"
Wow. Pressure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just a bit.
Wow.
God.
That's cool. That's a great album. I love it. I still listen to it from time to time because it brings me back to when I was a kid and when I started.
Yeah.
It's good memories though, and you know, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because initially we were planning for it to be a double.
Oh, okay.
So there were enough tracks to make it a double album, but Carrera only wanted a single, so that's.
Okay.
I don't think so somewhere those other, I think somewhere those other live tracks are there, but I don't know whether they've been mixed or not. I've no idea. I don't even know where the tapes are now. So.
Yeah.
Hey ho.
How much can I ask you? I do the geek thing now too.
Of course.
How much did you like to play Sacrifice on that tour? Because I always listen, that was the opener, and I always listened to it when you did it on soundcheck, and it seriously blew me away every time you guys played it, and especially you played it. And it was so with the double bass stuff and all that. It's not old school playing; it's like really modern drumming. And I thought like. Can say this, right? I thought like, fucking hell, that's amazing. And he had such a punch to it. And to me, you're more like a groove drummer than a heavy metal drummer. Always, because you have this great groove. And like Sexton, like the old stuff, it's very groovy music as well as like, you know, heavy rock. But that song Sacrifice, it was like punching someone in the head. Like every day it was like quite scary.
Funnily enough, that's still I think the album Sacrifice is still my favorite of the later albums anyway, you know.
Oh yeah, okay.
I love that. That's probably the album I play more than anything of the later ones, you know.
Okay.
Not that I don't like the later ones, but it's just saying.
No, yeah.
I think every album for me has its own sort of identity because you relate to your vibe when you were doing it and when you were writing it and all that. So for me, that was a real happy album to do.
Okay.
It was great. Actually, I nailed those. I was quite pleased with this. We were writing up, did a lot of writing sessions up near Leeds in this place. And then we ended up recording the drums in this place.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, just set the mics up. Our sound guy, Jackie, came in with his desk and we set everything up and everything. And I did, including getting the drum sounds, I did those drum tracks in 2.5 days.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know the
I was onto it. That's how on it I was, you know, song-wise and everything. And it was just
not easy,
I'd done that one and I'd go, come on, I want to do another one. Bang.
Yeah. Wow. And that's not easy stuff to play, though. I mean, it really has like all this double bass stuff. Like it doesn't go through. He plays all this like syncopated
broken patterns.
Yeah, broken patterns and all that. Wow. Now I'm feeling even more intimidated. Damn it.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just curious when you guys.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, when you guys when you're doing a record, how much time do you guys spend as a group going over the songs before you actually hit the record button? Like, do you guys go over the songs, rehearse as a band before you go in and record?
Well, I mean, generally, no. I mean, because when we get together and write, sometimes, we write separately and people write in groups or on their own or whatever. And then we get together and have a writing, then we all get together and run through everything and learn it all and everything. But we might not go into the studio until a week later or 2 weeks later or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And a lot of the time, I mean, I actually like recording drums on my own.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I'll tell you why. Because, I mean, actually, this is how we did Sacrifice, for instance, right? I went in with Nibs, and which of the guitarists played whichever riff the better, sort of thing. So I'd go in with a click, we'd put it down, and then they were done. So then that left me on my own, but I had them as a guide.
Oh, yeah.
They'd already been recorded, you see. So then I'd go in on my own and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they'd redo their parts later, sort of thing.
So like a guide track then for you to play along.
So it was a guide track. So I've got a guide track. Sometimes, actually, I think on one or two tracks on that Sacrifice album, their first takes, which I'm quite pleased about.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but that was only because we'd been writing there, so I was in a comfortable. The kit hadn't moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Just like going in, another writing day, right, let's do it, record. You didn't even think about it. Whereas you go into a studio, hang on, all the mics are going up, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
And it's it's like a completely different vibe. Whereas this was just like going in for blasting through stuff again. That's what it was.
Right.
And there was actually no gap from finishing the writing to starting the recording. We literally overlapped, bang, start.
So it's all fresh then.
Yeah, we were there and everything was in your brain. It wasn't like you were going home for a month listening to the songs. It was like we'd just been playing them all. Bang.
Yeah, that
good.
Was
the thing.
Yeah, that's good. Because with my guy, we sometimes rehearse, like we have rehearsals like 2 days and then we go home. Yeah. And then you come back to the studio and you go like, hang on. And you have to listen back and then you argue again and it takes some time, like extra time.
I don't know how you guys found it, but I used to find, when we did the sort of the old school method of recording, everyone's in the room, you know, and the drums are behind their behind their things and everything, and it's, and so you start playing, and it was like, for instance, like, okay, here we go, right, we're playing this song, bang bang, and I'm like, yeah, this feels great. And then the guitarist screws up. So you've got to stop.
Everybody,
right? Yeah. So then you can't start it again. Then maybe I screw up. You've got to stop again. And you're just losing that vitality. Yeah. And plus the fact, I think, from my point of view, it's sort of in your brain. It's like, I've got to get through this track because I mustn't keep pissing these guys off because I keep screwing up. So you don't really go for it.
Right. No, yeah.
If I'm on my own and I screw up, I just go, oh, sod it, drop me in.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like that, Bill. I want to do that bit again. Drop me in, bang, bang, bang. That's down. I'm not pissing anyone else off, or no one else is going, oh, not again, my fingers are getting sore. That sort of thing. But that's what you're getting on in your head,
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
On my own.
Yeah. That's
because that means I can really go for it. I haven't got to just get through the track so that one's done.
The line "drop me in" is my most favorite line ever in the studio. In a studio situation, it's not where's the beer or anything. It's like just drop me in, Because as you said,
or sometimes I go, no, come on, I want to do another one. I don't like that. I'm actually my biggest critic anyway.
Yeah.
So, so if I don't like something, I'll say, no, I want to do it again.
Yes, you should, of course.
But on the other hand, then I get pissed off if someone says, no, let's do another one. I was like, that was great. No, I think we should do another one. So I go off and sulk somewhere, you know.
Oh, man.
So is it it's like you did some covers with Saxon, right?
Yeah.
Like what's your favorite cover you ever did? Because like Saxon is not a band known for their covers, is it?
No. Well, I mean, you know, I mean, really, Solid Ball of Rock was a cover. We didn't write that.
Oh, I see. I didn't even know that.
No, we didn't write that.
Okay.
Friends of ours wrote it.
Oh.
And we sort of, you know, they sort of said, what about this? And their version was a lot more rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
So we sort of Saxonized it. And it's been great for us.
Wow. Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Cool.
So, and the band did, when I wasn't in the band, I think it was on Killing Ground. I think they had a go at a King Crimson song. And then what else have we done? Oh, Ride Like the Wind, obviously. I mean, I wasn't on that album, but I mean, us doing that's really popular, particularly in South American places.
It is. I think I heard it from you guys first, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they want, particularly in South America, they want to hear it. You know,
yeah,
Spain and stuff. You know, so.
That was well done, though. You know.
I mean, it was funny actually because I did an interview short while ago, and someone said, or someone was sent in some questions to the Saxon site, and the question was, you know, what cover version, you know, to each member of the band, what other songs would you like to have a go at? And actually, for me, I said Highway Star.
Cool.
I think we could do a killer one of that. And the other two were Dogman and Black Flag by King's X.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's cool. Oh.
Those are the three I'd like to do if we were going to do it. Because I mean, I love King's X. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just groove. Oh, great. So.
Luke Pinnick, right? The bass player and the singer. It's amazing guy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and Jerry, the drummer's just
yeah.
We did this Monsters of Rock cruise, and they were on it and everything. So I met Jerry, hung out with him for a while. You know, it was great. So brilliant drummer, great drummer. You know.
Talking of drummers, it's like whenever you weren't in the band, they always had German guys filling in for you, right? They're all Germans. All your replacements.
Obviously the first time I left, they had Nigel Durham.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right, so you're going back a bit, and then
that wasn't for long anyway, right?
No, that was for one album. But then for a short time, they had another English guy, although I think he was living in America, a guy called Trevor something. He did the Unleash the Beast tour.
I didn't even, okay.
Played with Asia for a short time as well. But yeah, generally is when they did stuff, although I was still writing with them. So, I mean, when we did Killing Ground, I co-wrote about 4 of the songs on there. I was in the writing sessions.
Okay.
Because Fritz didn't want to write. He not interested.
So you never really left the band completely then?
No. I suppose Destiny, you know, I was nothing to do with Destiny because I was off doing GTR, you know, with Steve Harris.
Right. That's true, yeah. Yeah.
But,
what was that? I mean, that's quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Next question.
So let's finish that German drummers thing.
German drum, yeah.
Is it because the band they like German drummers, or was it just a coincidence?
I think it was just coincidence. I think.
All right.
I mean, you know, both great drummers. You know, great.
And Udo Dirkschneider's son, right? He replaced you when you got like a little ill, right? Some time ago. So he's the third one.
Because he was my tech.
He was your tech, right? Yeah.
So he knew the song.
Another German.
Yeah, another German. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Mr. Schneider.
Yeah. No, he did a good job. It was great. It was good. But yeah, that was a pretty
a thrill for him to step in, for sure.
Yeah.
I talked to him about that, and he was like, "Wow, like, man, that was great for him. A huge honor for sure." Yeah.
It was only after that he was taken over for his father's band, right? Before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably his dad said, like, "Okay, you done it with Saxon. Now you can.
Now you're ready.
My band."
Yeah. You passed the test.
No, he did a good job. It was great. Really cool. I went out after I'd come, sort of got back. I came. Thank God he was using my kit, because I went up and saw the guys when they played in London, and so I got up and did 747 with them in sound check.
Oh, okay.
Just because I hadn't played for, I don't know what, a month and a half, something like that, 2 months, and I wanted to see if I could.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I got up and actually played it in the gig.
Wow, really?
But I mean, because of what had happened, I was so weak. I mean, I couldn't have done the whole gig anyway.
No.
That was enough.
Shit, man. That was some scary times. I mean,
that was extremely scary. I mean, I was that close to going. The doctor told me that close.
And to be specific, that was an aneurysm, wasn't it?
Yeah, it burst. Yeah, while we were on tour.
God.
So thank God I was in. Funnily enough, I was in. We had a day off when it happened. We played in Glasgow and we had a day off, and the next gig was Newcastle, and we were just across the river from Newcastle on the night before in Gateshead when it happened. And I got rushed into the hospital there, and then they transferred me to, I think it's the RVI in Newcastle, and I had 2 brain ops.
God damn.
Yeah.
Bad.
And then I was in bed for a month.
Wow. But not too many people recover from that.
No, well, it's funny. Well, it's funny, but it's. And the next time we played Newcastle, I invited the surgeon to the gig. Who operated.
Cool.
Basically saved my life, I invited him to the gig, and there was a male nurse who was a Saxon fan, funnily enough, who kept coming in about every 2 or 3 hours and was checking my brain waves and bloods and everything. So I got him into the gig as well, and we had a few beers afterwards. And I said, "Am I allowed to swear?" Well, I'm going to anyway. He's
Sure.
I spoke to the surgeon afterwards, and he said, "You're a fucking freak." He said, "I wasn't sure if you would survive, and if you did survive, I wasn't sure if you'd be able to play the drums again. And if you were able to play the drums again, I was expecting at least 18 months to 2 years, and I was back on tour within 2 months."
Really?
Amazing.
Wow. Extremely lucky then.
Lucky.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, it's 100% recovery. You don't feel any.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow.
He said the funny thing was they said once you feel better, he said because don't ask me why, I don't know. He said it's for a little while, it's going to take a lot less for you to feel a bit drunk if you have a beer. And I went down the pub, I had 1 pint, and I was like, gaga. So, whoa. Cheap date.
Cheap date, right? I would have taken you out then. Don't tell my wife. Wow. Well, that's rock and roll. I mean, preserved from the inside. Because you must know this better than any of us. You go through a lot, as a musician, as a touring musician for so many years. You know, all the travel and the playing and all that stuff. It's not just fun all the time, because people think like, okay, you know, it's just your hobby and you're getting some money for it, but it's not a hobby. It's a lot of work, actually.
It is a lot of work, yeah. And you
even
know,
though if you're not driving the truck, or if you're not driving the coach or whatever, you're still in it, you know, and it's still, you know,
you're away from home, you're doing the traveling. There's all, you know, particularly, for instance, I mean, we did a year or so ago, we did quite a sort of brutal tour of South America, you know, and it was like everything was flights. So we were like, you know, and some of the things were, we were getting back to the hotel, say at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, and as you know, the adrenaline. And then a couple of times we get back at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, lobby 3:45, go to the airport. And you got another show that night. It's like,
hey,
we were like the living dead for a while, I tell you.
Hey,
but Randy knows that too, right?
The last tour we did with Destruction in South America, we did 25 flights in 30 days. Whoa. Same thing, Nigel. Same thing. It was like, you get back to the hotel, it's like 1:30. Okay, let's have one beer in the bar. When's lobby call? 5, 4:30. What? That's 3 hours from now. Are you kidding me? But that's normal in South America. It's unfortunately that's the way it is. And but man, that tests your.
Yeah, it does.
That's
tough. And the ones you have to really think about, though, at least when we got to the other end, we could have a few hours sleep. Not the crew. They had to get there and go straight down the gig and see what the gear was.
Yeah,
so they were. So at that time, they were actually working harder than us. Actually.
Yeah.
Because at least we could crash for a couple of hours before sound check.
You know? I remember one tour I did there. I was sleeping on the drum riser. Just seriously waiting. It's like guitar check. I was just sleeping there, and then or in backstage on the floor. Seriously, it's like, there's a corner of the floor. I've got half an hour. Boom, take a half an hour sleep.
Yeah.
But hey, that's South America. I think most people that have toured there have similar stories.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I'm so glad we're not going there, because we sing German. From what I hear, it must be very draining. It's like
South America.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know, what the hell? It's an experience, you know.
But fans, they go crazy about the music.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
They really do appreciate it, like you know, to the max, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah. So just back to, when did you say is the next Saxon gigs? If things are opening up, you said September, October.
There was talk about September. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean,
I don't think so.
They've just cancelled, you know, a week or so ago, they just cancelled Bloodstock, which was middle of August.
Yeah.
You know, big Bloodstock festival. We were playing with Judas Priest and stuff, and that's not happening.
Wow.
So, I mean, I can't see it. I can't see any gigs until maybe next year. Maybe.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying too for us over here.
Unless they suddenly come up with a vaccine or something, or
right.
But you know, who knows?
Yeah. But without that, I mean, you can't put like more than a couple of people together, right? Because you would start it all over again.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, the alternative actually was, you know, maybe if they do start doing shows, they should keep them down. So basically, just clubs.
Yeah.
So maybe I know what you're saying, because it can still transmit. But I mean, you know, they were sort of worried. It's a little bit different, sort of 500 people to 10,000.
Yeah, but plus, can a band like your band, can you do that? I mean, because you're not going to make the money you need to make. It's not people, because we're in the same situation.
everyone would just have to cut down on their, on their rigs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not the back line rigs, but I mean on every, on the number of lights. But I think, I mean, it's an alternative, isn't it? At least then people could get out and see gigs.
Well, and you can play and you can actually work. That's true.
Yeah.
But with us in Germany, and Randy has that too. We had like government support, like immediate government support, and
that was great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, thumbs up for Germany. I mean, every musician was entitled to 9,000 euros immediate for like 3 months. So you don't have to like lose everything. Was there anything, do you know of like England, if there was any help for musicians or artists?
Basically, it was self-employed.
Yeah, self-employed.
Yeah, I think there's a self-employed thing over here, not just musicians. I think it was like a self-employed thing. There was also a sort of thing, if you were a writer, you could get some sort of small amount from PRS, which is the sort of Performing Rights Society.
Our GEMA, yeah. Yeah, because, we're all screwed really, basically, right? Because we can't actually work. And even if we start work again, then if it's small clubs, we all have to pay, have huge pay cuts to take, and it's gonna be difficult probably for everybody.
Yeah.
Nigel, like Sasha and I are, we're both teaching online, which is the first for me ever since this whole thing started. Do you do any teaching yourself?
No.
None.
Not at all. I mean, I felt like a few years ago, a friend of mine said, he said, I've got a nephew, he'd love a few little tips. And so I just went round there and showed him a few little things. And this friend of mine said afterwards, he said, you'd be a great teacher, you've got real good patience. I said, yeah, but I don't, don't talk to me about musical terms. It's just, forget it. Because here, as a prime example, I remember a gig not that long ago, some guy wrote in on Facebook, oh man, those 7-stroke rolls you were playing in that was so-and-so. And I was like, really? Oh. Seriously though, I just do it. I don't know what I'm doing, I just do it. I don't go into, I must put a bloody whatever in there. I've got to do those. I must put a quick 16th in that. I don't sing, I just do it. I'm useless. No, forget it.
Okay.
It comes from the heart, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Randy, you sent me that thing of your DVD, and I was like, whoa, look at all these rudiments. I mean, me, forget it. Forget it.
I don't know. I think you'd be a good teacher. For me, I kind of had a similar thing where I'm like, someone said you should teach, and I'm like, what? I don't know how to teach. So what I did, I sat in on a couple of friends that were teachers. I asked, hey, do you mind if I just sit and see how you do it? And it was like, wow, okay. Bottom line was, you'd be surprised how much you can teach, and just how much you have to offer as a teacher. Even if you don't know so much technical jargon or how to explain. I don't know. If you're interested, I think you could do it.
I started teaching because I had to, because the whole band got fired from like the European tour of the Rocky Horror Show. I did this for like 6 years, and before that I did another 4 years of hair, but also European tours. So and I started when I was 19. So all I knew in my life until I hit 30 was like a bus, a venue, and like a good time. That was the 90s. That was the good old days. And we had like the dancers with us and all that, mainly English or American girls. And but then, after 10 years, we got fired. And then I was there with no job and no perspective. So someone said to me too, like, oh, why don't you teach? You can step in for someone who, like, one of the teachers of one of the schools around where I was living at that time had to go to hospital. So I went there. I had no idea how teaching how that would work, and I was so scared. I think I never was as scared as playing a gig. Then going in there one-on-one with like a student. I was like, but it worked. And you know, I quite liked it so much that I don't teach a lot, but I still teach a bit because I still like it. You know, and if I don't like the person, I still, because I do it privately, I still can go, oh God, fuck off, you know, get someone else. But it's quite interesting because I had no clue how to do it at all. It's just learning by doing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I mean, it's like the other thing, you know, like clinics. You know, it's like, again, I saw one of yours, Randy. I saw a thing on you with you doing a snare drum thing on a pearl, you know, and I was like,
cool,
brilliant. You know, you were standing up this thing and
music fair,
military. It was brilliant. I applaud you for that. But I mean,
thank you.
You know, but I went and did some clinics in at the Frankfurt Mess once in '95, I think it was, and I've never been so scared in my life. You know, it was just ridiculous. It was just, oh.
Yeah, well, you know
play
what?
Your headline. You play your headline Bakken and you're cool, but then you stand there in front of 15 people and you have to talk and you shit your pants. Same with me.
It was a mixture of, like, I think it was a booth that held about 100 people.
Oh, it's quite good.
And so the Premier just bought out their Genister kit. So I was sort of demoing that and doing it for Paiste as well. And stupidly, it was like Mike Brooks, who was the sort of rep here. Then he rang me up and said, "Nigel, do you want to do this?" And stupidly, I went, "Yeah, all right then." No, he put the phone. Oh God, what have I done? And anyway, and so we were in the middle of recording, and so I hired this sort of 6-track cassette recorder, right? So I could, and then I put 4 of our tracks on it. We hadn't got to the vocal point, so I put click track on, bass guitar, 2 rhythm guitar, or 1 rhythm guitar, and that was it, you know. And the idea was I'd play along to them and whatever, and maybe do a little solo at the end. And so Mike met me at Frankfurt at the airport. He said, "Oh, we'll just dump your bag off in the hotel. We're going out to dinner," right? And I was even nervous then. And so I'm sitting at the table with, I can't remember, what was his name? The drummer from the Yellow Jackets.
Black guy.
Yeah. Who was the best joke teller ever. Yeah. So I was sitting with him, Bill Bruford, Terry Bozio, and then Billy Cobham joined us. And I'm like, oh my God, you know. Oh my God. And then I turned up the next day and trying to set my stuff up and everything. And like everyone there's got mini discs and all this flash stuff. And I'm like, got this little cassette player. And it's like, oh my God, you know. Yeah, managed to get through it anyway.
Cool.
Actually, what was quite funny, I was quite pleased that someone was there. I'm not going to say who it was, but someone was there who quite scared me actually. And then, because I didn't really say anything, Mike just introduced me, because then I just played or blasted all over these songs and changed the rhythms around a bit, because I had the click track. So I was like screwing with them a bit, you know.
Yeah.
And did my little solo thing. And then later on, and I watched this guy, and Bill was great. He was brilliant, really nice guy. But this other guy he scared the crap out of me. He's one of these mega fusion dudes, you know. It's like,
okay.
I saw him later in the day, and I went up to him and said, "Oh, hi, yeah, saw your clinic, really enjoyed it." And he said, "Oh, thanks, man. I came to see yours, but I couldn't get in." And I went, "Yes," and I smoked him. It was just a cool thing, you know.
Hey, you know what? It all boils down to this. I've seen a lot of bands where it's like they have great musicians, whatever. Some are not so great. It's the music. If the music hits me here, you know, I would rather see this drummer playing this band, because the music is just really moves me, you know. And it's the same way with bands. It's like every drummer, boiling it back down to clinics and stuff, has their own thing. And, you know, if they're coming to see you, they're coming to see you do your thing.
Yeah, that's true.
This is what I learned, because I was the same as you, man. I was offered to do these, and I didn't sleep for 3 nights before the first one that I performed. And it just, you know, I thought, hey, I'm going to do what I do. If they like it, fine. I can't control it, you know. I just do the best I can do. And
definitely.
Yeah, but it was like, as I said, the first one I did, it was like, got up there and I was so nervous, my mouth went totally dry, right? And my top lip got stuck.
Oh,
I was
no.
like that. Yeah, I was like that. I was like, and Mike was going, Nigel, can we see your face? You want to take some pictures? And I was going, no, I can't. Get it down. And it wouldn't come down, and water was just before. I was so nervous, really. It was just ridiculous. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? It's just stupid. It's almost like the other thing, you know. It's like I can go on stage, headline a stage at Waack in front of 75,000 people, and then I can go and jam with someone in a bloody pub, and people are right in my face, and that makes me more nervous.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I mean, I still get nervous before any gig anyway.
Yeah, me too.
I'm always walking around. Oh yeah, I just don't stop walking. I'm like, come on. Takes me about 2 or 3 songs to settle in. I don't know how you guys.
Exactly. It's like first song is like, okay, nothing fell off the kit. Everything's okay. First song, second song.
Well, the wrist hurting a bit. No, why wasn't that hurting in sound check? It's a bit like, oh, we've got to settle down. And it's like,
I'm actually fine
too
with
young
that.
to know those problems yet.
Oh, man, doesn't come from nothing. No, but I'm doing a lot of demoing for
Pearl.
And that's Gary one too, because you have no one expecting anything, and everyone's like, huh?
You're both Pearl guys, aren't you?
Yeah, Brandy too. Yeah. I was wearing the cap. I don't even have one. And I should have one, actually.
You should.
Look at that. Yeah, but at my first clinic, the same thing. I was hyperventilating. I couldn't talk. I was like, yes, I was talking like this. But that was when I was with Mapex in the 90s. That's a long time ago. And the guys were like, really, yeah, it's young, upcoming, and here he is. And I went outside and was like, hello, man. I was talking like this, and I felt like, you know, I had to tumor or something. But that's how it goes.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how it is.
Right, it goes.
Yeah, but like, because I demo so much for Pearl, and I have to talk a lot. Yeah, all the time. And like with the electronic drum kit, I do that a lot at the moment. Oh, okay. And I once had one in England, and they had Todd Zuckerman there. It was like 4 drummers together. It was Todd Zuckerman, like a really young, like up and coming, amazing English drummer. Matty Brown, it's his name. And the guy who was with Level 42 for a long time, what's his name?
Oh,
Lovely guy. Yeah, he was there, and they all had their drum kits there, like, you know, whatever they wanted, all the toms, everything, the whole gear. And I was there with an electronic drum kit with 1 crash and one ride cymbal, and that was it. You know, that was it. And I didn't know. I thought it was like a normal thing, and I was in line with these guys. My drum kit was there, and theirs were there.
Was that Chad Waack from Level 42? Was it?
What's his name? The guy who came in after the original one left.
The original one was Phil something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shit, man.
I know.
He's very famous, actually.
He's
He's a very cool English guy. It was amazing. And they were so, I mean, they looked at me like, oh, poor guy, you're going to fuck up tomorrow. Yeah.
Where is it in Germany you guys meet and start?
Well, we don't sort of meet as such. It's just all our gears sort of stored probably near Hanover.
That's Velby's.
Yeah, Velby's, yeah.
Oh, Velby's.
So I go to Velby's, stay there, and it's great. We go to the restaurant over the road and have a few beers, and then during the day I'm blapping around on my drum kit. So
cool.
So it's great. You know, I can just play what I want and as hard as I want, fast or whatever. You know. and just get used to being behind my baby again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And usually we rehearse over here in England, but all the gear's over there, so it's sort of like rental stuff, and it's like I'll be on like a little kit with two toms, and that's it, you know. It's great for remembering all the songs, but from actually point of view of getting up to speed again, it's useless.
Yeah.
So this is what I did before these gigs, you know, before these last 3 shows we did in Europe. I went over to Velbys and spent about 5 days over there, and I just sat in there when I went in there for an hour at a time and just blacked away on my kit.
You did some recording then, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the previous time.
That was the previous time. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I went over there and did the recording of the next album there as well.
Ah, okay.
Which was great as well, because it was just me there on my own. We had all the demos were on click track, so I just played along to all the demos.
Perfect.
You guys don't use that live, do you? Click tracks?
No backing tracks at all, no clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a time where occasionally I used to have a little metronome, just a thing that I'd use to make sure the tempo was right to count in.
Mm-hmm.
To count in, because, you know, I mean, everyone does it. I think, you know, we as musicians can tend to have a sort of thing to play a bit fast occasionally if there's, you know, because it's adrenaline.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So my law is now, if it sounds slow, it's right.
That's true though, actually, yeah.
No, it is, because it's like, if it sounds as if you're pulling it back, it's right, because your adrenaline is trying to push it forward.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
But we had a great, I've got to tell you this story quick, because it's like, this is dropping out again in a minute. We had a great time in Sweden. We hadn't been to Sweden for, ages. So this is about 96, something like that, 97. And we were in Sweden, I think, for about 2 weeks or something. And I don't know, some of the guys had been up all night on the tour bus, and I hardly got any sleep. You know, they're up blasting music. I thought, you bastard. Yeah, exactly. So the next gig, we had the very last song of the set after the encore. The very last encore song was this like long thing with all triplet double kick drums, like a medley, right? So it like went into one song, into another one, and a lot of the songs the guitarist had to play the triplets as well. So like, and I thought, I'll show you. So we start. I'll teach you to keep me up all night. We started playing the first song, and I just, when it went into the next segment, I sort of upped the tempo very slightly. And every time with the next segment, I upped it again very slightly. And they were turning around to me going, There's triplets on the bass and on the guitars, and I was like, come on, take it. You to keep me up all night.
They probably never did that again.
No, they didn't.
Wow.
Because I can remember like 1 or 2 nights where their bus driver came over to our little nightliner thing and collected some of their band that was hanging in our bus when they wanted to leave.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. You beat me to it.
Mickey D once said to me, Nips, he's scary.
Scary bass player.
Very good. Yeah.
Talking about bass players, right? Just changing the subject off drums. When we toured with, what year was it? Can't bloody remember what year it was. We toured, did some shows in the US with Yngwie.
Ah, okay.
Melstein. And the bass player, he had a guy called Wally. I think he's passed now, actually. I think he passed away, but from cancer or something. But he was using one of, some of Yngwie's really fast fills, really fast. you know, and the bass plays with him, right? This guy was using one of those Steinberg basses, you know, those little square things without a head.
With the head off, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I tell you, he'd be playing these bloody fast fills, right? He was he was a right-hander, and he'd suddenly flip the bass over and play it the other way.
Wow.
That fast again. I was like,
wow.
Whoa, he could play both. That probably stunning. Oh,
crazy.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the Johansson brothers were playing with Yngwie then.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
The keyboard player, right?
Sorry?
It's a keyboard player. That one of them is the keyboard player.
Jens Johansson was playing, and his brother was playing drums, who ended up in, what's the Swede?
Hammerfall.
For a while. And the last I heard of him, he was playing with Manowar.
Really? Because he had someone from South America before. Okay. Good.
I think you're right.
I think that, yeah.
Like 2 years ago, I had an off day during one of our tours, and me and our sound guy, we went to see Manowar live.
Yeah.
Because we just had nothing else to do, and we didn't want to drink with the others, and we went there. We had to leave. I've never ever experienced anything that loud in my entire life. It wasn't funny anymore. And our sound guy, he had like earplugs with him for the both of us, and he gave them to me before, and I went like, I don't need earplugs, just, you know, I mean, it's a band. And he said like, man, you better use them, and you had to. Unbelievable, really. Yeah,
wow. We did some shows and they were extremely loud.
Yes, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never, Randy, you toured with Motorhead as well as you have, right? And they were considered very loud. I mean, but Manowar, can anything be louder than Manowar?
Yeah, it was weird actually. I mean, we did there was sort of a lot of, you know, some indoor festivals with them. We did some outdoor festivals with them. Yeah. But yeah, they were pretty loud.
Unbelievable. I went to the furthest point away in that hall, and still you could feel like every punch in your gut was like, Jesus.
Yeah. He was a nice guy. Scott, their drummer, was a nice guy. Mm-hmm. Very nice guy.
Oh,
are you playing live with earplugs? Right? Yep.
Am I playing live with earplugs? No, I've got in-ears.
Ah, okay.
I use in-ear monitoring. Yeah, prior to that, yes, I did use earplugs because I thought, you know, so I had like regular monitors, but I thought, you know, it would take the earplugs would take that high zing off everything. Mm-hmm. And I found it very...
You've got a monitor mixer traveling with you that gives you your mix?
Yes.
Ah, okay, nice.
Yeah, so apart from Doug, we're all on in-ears.
Okay.
So everyone has a different mix. So it's great. I never look back from them. It's great. You can have them, you know, loud, soft, whatever.
Yeah.
You can have, I want that guitar up louder than that one, or whatever, anything, you know. Have whatever
so
you want.
No wedges on stage or a drum fill?
I don't have any. Oh, yeah, there are wedges on stage. Biff has a couple of wedges. Doug is not on any ears, so he has to have wedges.
But you're not.
There's still side fills. I don't have anything else, just that. I mean,
no bass shaker or Porter and Davies?
I was just going to say, no. I just don't fancy that. I don't know. I don't know.
I was like that.
I love those. Oh yeah, I love those.
You've got a Porter and Davies, have you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They make the best.
I always have a 15 what you call it, diameter bass amp behind me.
Yeah,
me
just
too.
A kick.
I use stage fill, a drum fill, and I use the thing. I have both. It's great, and in ears. I love it.
Bloody hell!
It's the ultimate.
Must be insane. Now
Talk about your bowel movement then.
That's exactly what I wasn't going to. Yeah, I thought no, I think that might make me want to stop the song.
All right, Nigel. once again, a pleasure. And
thank you very much.
Hopefully we can meet in person soon and do it again.
Yeah, brilliant.
All right.
You take care, guys.
You were my favorite. Ha ha. I got him. You take care, right? We
and
talk
you,
soon.
be safe, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.